Ross Feingold is a political risk analyst focused on Asia. He joins us via Skype from Taipei. Welcome to the programme. So, to what extent do you think this is a genuine attempt from both sides for some kind of thaw in relations?
The interesting thing about that question is, from the Biden administration, I'm sure they would say that they're acting with a genuine desire to reduce tensions, and that's very common for the Biden team. It was common for the Obama administration, where many of the foreign policy officials in the Biden administration have previously worked. They're a big believer in engagement and discussions, whether that's with China or Iran, for example. Unfortunately, things don't always work out well simply because you're having a discussion. And the criticism they're going to get from members of Congress and others is simply that the timing is still not right for this kind of visit. But again, the ethos, the mindset for the Biden administration seems to be, as long as we're talking, and it doesn't matter whether that's the Secretary of State or the Secretary of Commerce or other U.S. government officials at various levels.
And what about the sticking points, though, like tensions in the South China Sea and issues over Taiwan?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? As your report indicated, the number of issues that are on the agenda are numerous. They cover a wide range of areas, whether that's an area of direct competition or even confrontation, such as in the South China Sea over Taiwan, differing views on human rights and trade, but also other issues where the U.S. and China are pursuing different policy goals. And Ukraine comes to mind, North Korea and Iran, and more recently, China's activities in the Middle East. So Blinken will be there for, what, 2 days at most. We deduct the time he'll spend meeting with U.S. embassy staff, having meals. The amount of time that he's actually in meetings, and then the long list of issues to discuss, that ultimately means that any particular issue, frankly, won't get a lot of discussion time.
A long list indeed. I mean, from China's point of view, presumably they may want to raise issues over US tariffs on Chinese goods and sanctions on high-ranking officials, for example.
Yeah, they might raise that. Of course, Blinken will say, well, I'm not the sanctions department. Go meet our Commerce Secretary or our Treasury Secretary to talk about that. There is a very difficult issue that's been in the news recently, which is, as the host of the APEC summit later this year, will the U.S. allow the chief executive of Hong Kong to attend the meeting because he is under sanctions from the United States? But whereas Blinken might be looking to raise a long list of issues, from the Chinese side, they're going to spend a substantial amount of time talking about Taiwan and U.S. weapon sales to Taiwan, other government-to-government interaction between the United States and Taiwan that China doesn't like. So although the U.S. might bring up this long list, I think, as is usually the case, China is going to bring up Taiwan and spend a lot of time on that.
Ross Feingold, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.